Well, good day, and may the 4th be with you. My name is Gary Willing, and as always, I want to welcome you to Search for Signs, and just point out, if you want to know more about this information, the best thing to do is to start gathering as much about it as you can possibly get your hands on. And so, I do think the best way to start is to check out some of the links that I provided in the description portion of these videos, but you can do it however you want to do it. All right, now, the one comment I want to cover before I read the article coming from one of these masters is coming from my buddy Rick. My boy Rick. He quotes Maitreya's book, the book about Maitreya's writings, Maitreya's Teachings, The Laws of Life. And I love this quote. I remember this quote, but it is so true. But it does give a little inkling of some of the teachings of Maitreya. But he says, remain open-minded. This is what Maitreya said. Remain open-minded. Enjoy life. When you enjoy life, it is as if you are sitting on the beach looking at the vast ocean. At that moment, you experience serenity, tranquility, and detachment within. You do not think of your bank account at that moment. Nobody lectures you at that moment. The gift of life flowers within you. So you don't have to change your beliefs in order for you to look at life that way. You don't have to stop being a Christian or become a Christian or whatever. You know, it's not about following Maitreya personally. It's about looking at the teachings and applying it and see if it works. So anyway, quite an extraordinary comment and quote that you put in there, Rick. So thank you very much for that. Now, I am going to shift gears in this article, in this video, and read an article from Benjamin Creme's master entitled "The Family." Now, typically when I read articles, they have to do with Maitreya's biggest priority for peace, the need for peace, the need to bring about the principle of sharing in order to bring about peace. But in lieu of what's transpired in the United States over the past few days with, it's looking more and more like the Supreme Court is going to overturn Roe v. Wade, which was an amendment to the Constitution that's been around since I've been alive. I think it actually became an amendment the year I was born in 1972. Ugh, that's a long time ago. But I wanted to read this article. I've read it before in other videos, but I wanted to read it to perhaps shed some light on what the masters would think about this very polarizing political topic of abortion. He doesn't talk about abortion in this way, but it might be able to shed some light on it. And there's some other things in here too, in terms of gay marriage and so forth, that are also polarizing topics that the master's view of it might be different than what you might be thinking if you're familiar with these masters, believe somewhat that these masters are who they are and so forth. It might be different than you think. Because when I read it, I was a little taken back, like, really, why? And then when I read it again, and then I read the article again, it started to make a little bit more sense. That's why it's always better to read these articles for yourself. And you can do that, and the quickest, easiest, fastest way to do it is just to go to the Share International site and go to the articles by the master and find this article entitled "The Family" and read it yourself. But the way he speaks about the family in a very broad way, you could really apply it to the abortion political debate here in the United States. And it goes to show you, if you are paying attention to what I've said about the masters and Maitreya especially, that when they speak to polarized groups, that they'll be able to speak to the left just as easily as they can speak to the right. And it's about inclusiveness and cooperation and not about placating or kowtowing to different groups, about being politically correct. It's about really what is true, first of all. They'll speak to nothing but the truth, but also what's the most beneficial for humanity and what humanity needs to learn. And both groups are fighting for, justice and freedom in their own way. And that's why they will be able to speak to these groups equally and freely. But listen to what he has to say. It's like I said, it might be different than what you might be thinking. "The Family" by Benjamin Creme's master, and it was written in 2002. "The family unit is the basis of all social life. Its importance cannot be overemphasized. Today, this preeminence is being eroded by neglect, experiment, and a misunderstanding of the essential needs of children. All children need a stable background in which to grow, and the exemplars of that process, a mother and a father. That not all parents provide that stability or offer worthy examples is sadly all too true. And many factors are involved in this unfortunate condition: lack of education, poverty, inadequate housing, illness, and irresponsible and feckless adults, immature and unfit for the rigors of family life. Let it also be said that millions in every country, poverty-stricken and deprived of every amenity, strive valiantly and most succeed against all the odds to hold their families together and provide a stable and loving example to their young. They are the unsung heroes of the race, who, through tenacity of purpose and endless self-sacrifice, represent the best that humanity can show. The new education must address this fundamental problem and institute the training and requirements for family life. It is odd, is it not, that this most basic aspect of social life should receive such scant attention and be left to the vagaries of chance to such a large extent. In most countries, the right to drive a car is regulated and controlled by age and tests more or less severe. Doctors and nurses, pilots and drivers of trains, all of them may carry out their useful service only after due training and careful preparation. And rightly so. Yet millions of young people are allowed to enter this field of service, the most difficult in the world, for the most part devoid of training of any kind. The simple biological urge to reproduce and the domination of women's quote-unquote time clock, unquote, are considered sufficient to grant the right to multiply and add to a congested world. The young couples commence the subtle and difficult art of upbringing and nourishing of souls in incarnation with little more than their conditioning to guide them. That conditioning they duly pass to their children, and so the follies and ignorance perpetuate. Thus the need for the light of a new approach to this sacred service. Today, there is an added and growing twist to the problem. Mounting sexual experimentation in the field of the family life is leading to a distortion and misunderstanding of the true nature of the parent-child relation. The child is a soul in a family of souls. This provides the family unit with the opportunities for resolving karma developed over many incarnations together in varying relationships. Hierarchy is not the enemy of homosexuals, but the growing demand of homosexual men and women for the right to raise children is mistaken and unhelpful to the child. All people of whatever sexual persuasion should think deeply about the nature and purpose of incarnation, the nurturing of souls who need a mother and a father to provide the examples, guidance, and karmic opportunity to grow and evolve according to the plan. If for whatever reason people feel inadequate to the task, a wise self-sacrifice for this life may be the wisest course. Remember to take action and help SOP save our planet. Thanks for listening, and we look forward to talking to you again in future videos.